From the campus of J.W. North High School here in the beautiful city of Riverside, it's the Riverside TV Game of the Week as the Huskies of J.W. North take on the Eagles of Valley View High School. Hi, everybody. J.R. Ibarra along with Nick Rice, bringing you all of tonight's action in week number 9, Nick. It's amazing how fast this has already popped off here for the 2021 season. And the Huskies of J.W. North looking to continue on with an undefeated record as they come in with that 8-0, kind of a steamroller type of record so far here in the 2021 campaign.
Well, JR, I'm excited for tonight's game. J.W. North, not only have they never been really in any sort of dramatic fourth quarter situation, their closest win was 18 points a couple of weeks ago at Paloma Valley. They are rolling through everybody this year, and Valley View will certainly have their hands full tonight.
We saw them last Friday night. You and I were both here, and we saw how incredibly efficient the offense was. There was a few miscues by different penalties that took place throughout the evening, but nonetheless, they were able to overcome those miscues to come up with a very sound victory over Hemet High School.
By a few penalties, you might have meant 3 touchdowns wiped off the board. Still a huge win last week.
Abram Chan kicks off the football. It's going to get picked up right at about the 12. Got some green and daylight. And looks like he'll go all the way and score to start up tonight's ball game. Rohan Preston, the senior, takes tonight's kickoff.
I'd say about 88, 89 yards.
Yeah, about 80-plus yards, and comes up with tonight's score of the game. And that's just kind of typical of what you see with J.W. North.
Not too often the Huskies begin the game with a return touchdown, but J.W. North has figured out new ways in this special season, a Cinderella year in 2021 for J.W. North to score in every way, and they do so on the first play of the game.
Dylan Bocher will come in to attempt the extra point, and just like that, with only 10 seconds taken off of the time clock, we have 6 points on the scoreboard already. No surprises why this team comes in with an 8-0 record and has just been steamrolling most of their opponents, as you mentioned, Nick. So Butcher, kick is low, partially blocked, and it is no good. So in spite of the fact you get an 80-plus yard run back, it is 6-0 in favor of J.W. North.
Fantastic blocking up front. The Huskies rolled through the Valley View Eagles like they were, this was just an absolutely incredible hole established on the left-hand side. The Eagles got steamrolled out of the way, and Preston was not even close to being touched on a phenomenal return. J.W. North has a fantastic offense, but when you could supply special teams points, this team is almost unbeatable.
That's what's really incredible about the Huskies. They do bring in a complete structure to the gridiron, and it's been obviously showing up in results. Jose Lara will do the kicking duties here for the Huskies. End-over-end kick. It's going to drop right at about the 12-yard line. Will it be scooped up? And wrapped up just immediately on the carry was Michael Johnson, their leading running back here for Valley View.
Valley View High School comes in fresh off of a fantastic comeback win. Last week, their first victory of the season was courtesy of a 28 unanswered run against Notre Dame last week, a Riverside school. They pay a visit back to the city to take on the juggernaut of this conference, J.W. North, tonight.
Michael Johnson will be in the backfield. Deshaun Davis will be your quarterback for tonight. Run goes and gives right up the middle, and it looks like it will be possibly a gain of 1, if that, maybe not, and bring up a second down scenario. Yeah, so last week, obviously, they showed some gumption to come up with their victory, their first victory of the season, so they are overall a 1-7 type of team. Very young football team as we talk with Pete Smolin, the head coach, and we'll talk a little bit more about that as this game progresses. On a 2nd and 10, pitch back goes to Johnson. Johnson looking for some daylight, and he's going to get wrapped up, possibly for a loss of 1 to 2 yards on the carry.
Number 40 for J.W. North, Lisitoa Toki makes the stop, and he is just one of a plethora of very athletic, young and ambitious linebackers for the JW North defense. And as explosive as the Huskies are offensively this year, this is really their bread and butter, the defensive side of the ball.
I tell you what, they say defense wins championships, and I think that could be the lock that propels this football team to go deep into CIF action, which will start in just a matter of a couple of weeks. So we'll call it a 3rd down and an 11. Going to toss out. And attempted pass goes to number 16, Jaden McMillan, the tight end, and unfortunately could not get a handle on it. So just like that, it will be a 4-and-out situation here for the Eagles of Valley View.
Yeah, the Huskies are fresh off of a fantastic 2020 season. Then they come in 2021, bringing back a majority of the players. So like you mentioned, JR, they are an experienced, a veteran team. And this club really has revitalized a program that has been on the precipice of playoff berths, and now they've really put it all together this season with that experience.
Asan Elliott is back to receive the punt. He's standing right at the 40 of Valley View. He's going to take it at the 42. Gets by, and we have a flag down, still on his feet, keeps it turning and moving. He is very hard to get down at this point, and they finally try to wrestle him down. We're going to call it right at about the 27-yard line, but I did see a flag get tossed there in the field.
That's the play of the game right now. Asan Elliott carries the whole special teams group for Valley View. What an effort by Asan Elliott.
My mistake, I guess there was not a flag. I think it might have been a marker by the referee just to toss where Elliott got.
I thought it was a flag, too.
Yeah, I thought it was a flag.
No blame there.
I saw them toss something and wait. There was a running into the kicker. So
my vision's not very good, JR, but I know it's not that bad. I was pretty sure I saw a flag on the field.
Wow, so that will change things up a little bit so you can kind of negate what Asan Elliott just came up with on that punt return. So this will give a fresh set of downs here for the Eagles. So this breathes a little bit of life into the offense here for Valley View. Gives them a 1st down and 10.
Wow.
With the ball spotted right at about the 26, 27-yard line. So that's quite a change of scenario here for the Eagles of Valley View, and looks like we get a jump. So right off the bat, we have 2 consecutive penalties that will most likely go against the Huskies of JW North. So they're just kind of giving some yardage away here, Nick.
JW North is 8-0. They have outscored their opponents by nearly 30 points a game. But if they are going to lose in the playoffs, this will most likely be the reason why. They are among the league's worst penalized teams this season.
On a 1st down, give goes right up the middle to Johnson, and it looks like he might get granted one yard on the carry. Well, you think of the old Oakland Raiders who used to get penalties day after day,
yes,
week after week, and still come up with a Super Bowl championship. So you kind of hope and wish the same here for the Huskies as they polish off the rest of this 2021 campaign. 2nd down and short for the Eagles. Give this time, going to go right up the middle with plenty of daylight. On the run is number 10, Carter Olmos. He'll go in and score. Going to be about 70 yards on the touchdown. So Carter Olmos comes up with a carry and puts the Eagles up on the scoreboard. So who knows here, Nick? We could have ourselves a ball game.
Just a phenomenal job up front by the Valley View line. Almost didn't just break free, but it was almost too easy for Olmos.
Abram Chan puts it between the uprights. So now Valley View leads this one by a score of 7-6. Kind of a surprise here, but you know, the Eagles have really kind of been gelling over the last few weeks. You know, you got to consider that in their first 4 games and the teams that they confronted, those are all teams that currently have winning records. So they have faced some pretty stiff opponents, even though they lost by some pretty significant points. This is a team that has been tried and tested so far in the season.
Well, the first 2 games of the Valley View season on the road, they lost by a combined score of 120-0. So the Eagles began the year about as worse as you could. And to your point, JR, they are a young team that is really developing every week, unlike what we see like a JW North. For as great as they are, they're experienced. A lot of these players aren't quite as unaccustomed to the program as is a Valley View.
Fair catch is taken right at the 32-yard line by JW North. Tupou coming up on the receiving end here for the Huskies, so that's where JW North will operate with a first down and 10. Well, just like last week, you know, the first two plays of the night went for touchdowns, so let's see if JW North can generate that type of offense here, as this is their very first series of downs to start off this football game.
Yeah, Rohan Preston with the 88-yard return score. JW North has a pretty darn good quarterback, too, back there in Jaden Gamble.
Jaden Gamble back with his son Elliott. The give is to Elliott. Got some daylight. Gets a nice key block. Takes it to the 40 and pushed out of bounds right at about the 36-yard line. Stop on the play is made by Deshaun Davis.
That may be a hold against JW North. For as great as the run was, and trust me, it certainly bums out a lot of the Huskies that this situation hurts them again.
Take a look at the blocking here, Nick. It is really effective of what they're opening up here for Hassan Elliott. Well, I guess we're going to go back to live action here. But nonetheless, here's what our fourth marker of the night. It's, again, kind of reminiscent of what we saw last Friday night.
Yeah, JW North has an issue that has plagued them throughout the season with the penalties, and they are sometimes figuring out new ways to commit these issues. A holding penalty on that one.
Gamble back to pass. Shovels it out right at about the middle. Catch is made and taken right to about the 45-yard line.
Ayala.
Damian Ayala coming up with tonight's reception. That'll bring up a first down scenario here for the Huskies as they move the chains.
Impressive throw from Jaden Gamble. This is what makes him such a dynamic player and maybe even a next-level player.
Yeah, you know, when you see that he comes into tonight's ball game with about 1,209 yards of passing, he has been awfully effective in the backfield here for the Huskies. Give is going to go right up again to the middle here. On his feet is Seo McCauley. Stays on his feet and will get a first down. First carry of the night, picks up 11 yards. Seo, as he's affectionately known as here among the Huskies of JW North, one of the 25 seniors who are graduating, so it's senior night here at JW North High School, so they were honoring a lot of these players. And you know it's going to be quite a big loss when you figure that 25 of these guys will not be on next year's squad.
Including 15 four-year players. That's a lot of experience leaving a program.
First down and 10 at the 42. Gamble gets wrapped up for a loss. Chan comes in and makes the tackle, and a huge sack here for Valley View.
I mean, he busts right through what is an offensive line that, as mentioned, is very experienced, and there was really no chance for Campbell on that play. He's an athlete. He is one of the most dangerous quarterbacks in this league, considering his ability to maneuver within the pocket. There's no chance with a pass rusher coming in that quick.
Abram Chan gets credited with the sack. He's a big kid. He's 6'4", 250 pounds, and has some quick feet, as you see there, and puts the Huskies back with a 2nd and 20. Seal with the carry. Picks up the first down and will take the football right to about the 26-yard line. So when you need some yardage, you give it to Seo to pick that up.
Well, in any program in Southern California, number 4, Hassan Elliott, would be a starter.
Yeah,
but Venancio Michaele is such a dynamic runner, 5'8", 200 pounds, with the sort of speed that we saw, that Michaele has really earned his role as the top running back. And early in the game, he is making a huge difference against this defense.
Comes in tonight with 793 yards on the ground.
And 12 touchdowns.
And 12 touchdowns. Play action pass for Gamble. Looks out. Catch is made, and the ball is taken and pushed out of bounds right at about the 20. The reception made by Ashar Granger. Granger, the leading receiver on the Husky squad, 401 yards coming into tonight with 5 touchdowns on the season. In fact, talking about 5 touchdowns, it was last week when Jaden Gamble came up with 5 touchdown tosses on the night. So he's obviously such a pivotal part of this backfield here for the Huskies. Second and short here for JW North. Elliott and Michaeli back in a pistol type high formation, and it looks like there's going to be a timeout taken by North.
Well, you spoke of Jaden Gamble. He's a quarterback that must have saw something with this JW North program, and considering the regular playoff opportunities this school has, I certainly don't blame a Jaden Gamble. He transfers from Santiago High School in Corona and is an immediate impact for this football team.
Man, has he made the impact without a question. As you see the Huskies huddling there with head coach O.P. Vaipulu in his first year as head coach. Boy, he's got to be pleased how things have worked out here for this 2021 campaign.
Well, he was given the keys to a Ferrari. So he comes in, and all he's asked to do for this year is to not crash the car, okay? Make sure we get from...
That's a pretty good analogy, actually.
Yeah, I spent all week working on it. So, get from point A to point B, and Opalani Vaipulu took a school with 25 seniors, 15 four-year players, and a lot of guys that are immediate difference makers. And the Huskies are not just 8-0, but Vaipulu really looks like a coach that is very comfortable being the head man versus just a coordinator.
Second and short here for the Huskies. Elliott in the I formation. Give goes right up the middle to Elliott with daylight and a touchdown. 19 yards on the carry. Puts another 6 on the scoreboard here for JW North.
The blocking from JW North, with the exception of the sack, was outstanding throughout the drive. For Valley View to win, they are going to need to at least hold serve at the line of scrimmage.
Absolutely.
The Eagles' defense, for as much improved as they've been this year, pitching a second-half shutout last week at Notre Dame, they will need to win some battles at the line of scrimmage to have a chance. On that play, Elliott cruises to the end zone with not a single hand on him, and if that continues, this will be a long night for that defense.
Lara comes up with a point after, so it now makes it a 13-7 ball game in favor of the Huskies. So, yeah, as you were saying, Nick, Valley View is going to have to buckle down defensively in the trenches and try to do something to stop this very huge running game, but you are facing a team that has put up some really significant yardage and points through this season here.
What makes this team so dangerous is that they have a difference maker at quarterback now.
Yeah.
But make no mistake, JW North is a run-first football team, and the Huskies, when they get the running game going, are so dangerous.
Ball's taken right at the 10-yard line, looking for some daylight. Right to midfield and gets taken out by Lara. On the run back was Carter Olmos. So Lara, the kicker, kind of levels Carter. Let's take a look at this one as he'll put his shoulder right into Olmos just about as he gets to midfield. You don't always see a kicker do that.
Yeah.
Nice. Upends him and takes him
all
off
right.
the turf.
Early nominee for the Lou Groza Award win tonight.
That's
here on
pretty
Riverside
significant.
TV.
Yeah, significant. So the ball's right at about the 41-yard line. And that's
What really stinks about that run is that the kicker won't be awarded with a tackle. He already stepped out of bounds. But it's a tackle in our books, okay? We'll Jose Lara, you earned the tackle of the day tonight for our vote.
Another flag that seemingly will go against the Huskies. So just like that, Nick, they're making those mistakes penalty-wise again, just like we saw last Friday night.
Yeah, 4 penalties for 35 yards.
Wow.
That's a good total for a game.
Yeah.
So JW North, this is an issue, and we'll certainly look at it throughout tonight's game.
Exactly. Johnson is your ball carrier, looking for some daylight, going to get wrapped up. Ooh, just shy of the line of scrimmage. He might get a loss. Yep, they'll take it back. They'll take the sticks back about a yard. We'll make it a 2nd and 6. Taking another look at that, nothing really formulates here for Johnson.
Yeah, Michael Johnson is averaging nearly 6 yards a run this season, but he hasn't faced a defense like this this year, where usually against teams like a Notre Dame or Orange Vista, the last 2 opponents he's played, he may be able to beat the defense to the outside, but this club is just too fast for that.
Gibb is going to go to Olmos. He's going to carry it right up the gut. Maybe we'll get credited with 2 yards on the carry after the stop.
We just saw almost rip off a 65-yard touchdown run a moment ago. So Valley View has a running game that is effective. In fact, they are a run-first football team with Olmos and Johnson. But the Eagles, by the way the Huskies play the run, they may need to mix up some passes to have a chance.
3rd and 4 is the scenario here for the Eagles. Almost in action, and the keeper by the quarterback is going to get stuffed for a loss.
Leo Tupou jumped in quickly. What a hit from the linebacker for a loss.
Man, that was a pretty solid hit as Davis hits the turf and will bring up a 4th down scenario. They momentarily look like they might be thinking about going for it on a 4th down scenario, but it looks like no. Chan will come in and punt the football. Chan is probably the biggest kicker I've seen. He's 6'4", 250 pounds.
All right, that's a pretty a pretty big presence for if Chan wants to make something happen back there.
And we've seen that he's got some pretty good wheels on him. Pretty decent kick as well. Takes a bounce in favor of the Eagles and will dribble down very close to the 12-yard line there, and that's where the Huskies will operate with a 1st down and 10.
So now we're getting a little accustomed, JR, doing the game last week. We're getting a little accustomed about this Eagles team, or this Huskies team, as we have an injury for the Eagles. The Huskies, one thing that right away stands out, for those of you watching on Riverside TV, it's a little hard to fully describe, but JW North is just bigger and stronger than a lot of the teams that they played.
Yeah.
Maybe it's the experience, maybe something else, but it seems both sides of the ball up the trenches, they are just so overwhelming for teams. And, you know, credit to the Eagles, they score that touchdown from almost to begin the game. Most teams get so overwhelmed by the size and speed that we see them fall way behind in the first quarter. But this will be a huge challenge for the Eagles to try and match up with that sort of strength and speed and size of this program.
Nathan Sanchez was the ball player down on the turf for the Eagles of Valley View. Glad to see he gets up under his own power. Probably just got the wind knocked out of him. Head coach Pete Smolin there. You'll see the gentleman in the shorts and the shaved head.
Must be cold.
Oh, yeah. I mean, this is a lot chillier than I expected tonight, so I didn't quite come prepared like you did, Nick. Didn't bring my parka like you did.
You didn't bring your
didn't bring my snowshoes.
Scarf in your ski suit? All right.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
That's what happens when you live in sunny Southern California. You get fooled by the temperatures during the daytime hours, and you get to the nighttime, and it's like, holy smokes.
Right. But, yeah, I'm sure Pete Smolin isn't thinking much about the cold right now. He's thinking about how to manufacture some sort of a scoring drive. And right now, JW North, despite the poor field position, they certainly look capable of driving against a team like this.
Yeah, it's a team that has enough dynamite to make things happen here offensively. CO goes in motion. And Gamble will toss it out to him. And he's going to toss the football with an open receiver. Catch is made with a lot of daylight. Jeremiah Calhoun. He'll get to the 20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown. So just as we were talking about it, Nick, you know this team can strike like lightning, and they certainly do. Another 80-plus yard score for the Huskies of Calhoun takes it to the house. So you got to give CO the credit on the toss.
What a play design. And we saw that last week, and Calhoun was open, but because the pass was so underthrown, Calhoun was dragged down by the last defender. On this play, Mika L.A., they must have worked on that all week long. He heaves it as far as he can, this time in stride to Calhoun for 6 points.
Lara puts it between the uprights, so now it's a 20-7 ball game as you see Calhoun just kind of completely untouched, scampers into the score for 80-plus yards on the reception.
This is a rookie coach, Opalani Vepulu, but he's been around this program for a while. So I'm sure for the last couple of years he was in his laboratory like a mad scientist thinking, why don't I do this sort of fake receiver block release on a running back pass from the quarterback position? We've seen a lot of running back passes, none quite like that out of the shotgun formation. Very, very crafty, well-done play design. 2 weeks in a row, defenses have had a tough time figuring that play out.
It formulated very well and comes up with 6, and Lara gets the ball to the 10. I believe that's almost on the run back, and he'll take it right to about the 21.
This is what JW North does to you. If your defense relaxes for a moment, Calhoun, Ayala, Granger, this receiving core can beat you over the top. And that's the added element to this football team that we didn't see last year. They've always been a great running team, but now they've got a passing element that is so new and unusual in recent memory, and a huge plus come playoff time in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, definitely. With that completeness, there's no telling how far these Huskies can get through CAF. The question being, where are they going to wind up in the division?
Yes, more on that later.
Yeah, we'll talk more about that as this night progresses. Davis going to give it to Olmos, doing the end around. He gets stuffed. Looks like he'll get a loss of about 2 yards on the carry.
A rough start to the ball game for Johnson, as currently the Valley View starting running back has 4 carries for -4 yards. Rough start. And almost hasn't been much better either. He did rip off the 65-yard run, the touchdown, but nothing much since.
Yeah, coming into tonight's ball game, they only had 838 yards total rushing for the season, as they are primarily a running team. Play action pass here by Davis, looking for an open receiver. Might have somebody open, and unfortunately just can't get it to his intended receiver of Jaden McMillian.
That is the sort of athletes that Coach talked about before the game, Coach Pete Smolin. Dehon Johnson, who was the part-time starter, JR, he was apparently out tonight with a concussion. Davis comes in and provides a sort of running element that Johnson doesn't quite have. So it's almost as if Davis provides the sort of athleticism and danger outside the pocket that Valley View would really want in a game like this anyways.
Both of those quarterbacks have actually kind of shared duties throughout the season.
Yeah.
They almost had similar yardage in terms of how much they've been able to pass for the 2021 campaign. Almost going in motion. Back to pass is Davis. Getting chased, tosses it down the middle, and it will go no place quickly. In fact, it might be another loss, but we got a flag tossed up on the ground here. Oh, targeting call. It's going to go against the Huskies. So that'll breathe a little bit of life here into the Eagles offensively, even though they've not been able to generate anything on the last couple of downs.
I am curious about where that penalty was on the field, because certainly the one who made the tackle didn't appear to have a target. But JW North nevertheless commits its 5th penalty of the game. Good for 50 yards against the Huskies early.
Wow, so that'll push the football right to about the 37-yard line and breathe new life and a new set of downs here for the Eagles of Valley View. Davis from the gun. Once again looking to pass. Tosses it out. Intended for McMillian, who's not able to get a handle on it. He has both of his hands on the football, just was not able to haul it in.
That's the footsteps that wide receivers are so reluctant sometimes to face in a situation like that. When you know you're going to get smacked, it's very easy to lose your concentration. And listen, as a former high school wide receiver myself, I can speak firsthand just how many times I drop a wide open pass when a defender was coming my way.
Rohan Preston was there on the play for the Huskies of JW North. Brings up a 2nd down and 10 scenario here for the Eagles.
I'm coming out standing today with no broken arms or legs, so I'd say it might have been a good idea I didn't catch those passes.
Other passing attempt here for Davis, looking downfield, tosses it up, intercepted by Preston. Still on his feet to the 20, got a lot of green. 10, 5, and touchdown. So the Huskies defensively come up with a pick with a run back by Rohan Preston and puts up another 6 on the scoreboard for J.W. North.
What a return from Preston, and with his role as a running back being compromised to largely fourth quarter garbage time yards, Preston has made 2 huge plays in parts of the game that coaches would dream of. If your third string running back can score on a kickoff return and on an interception return, I would say your chances are pretty good that this guy's going to stick around for a while. He is a senior, which is so unfortunate for J.W. North, so they don't get his services next season. But this year, he's making huge impacts in other areas of the game.
Lara puts it up through the upright, so it now makes it a 27-7 ball game in favor of the Huskies. Taking another look at this one, Nick.
And this is the difference from last year. The Huskies, for as great as they were individually in spots a season ago, they now have the sort of continuity where Preston has an interception and you see the entire team providing a convoy for that guy.
I know we've been kind of harping on the fact that they've been committing a lot of penalties, but that doesn't seem to hamper them a whole lot.
It sure doesn't.
No.
And I think the Raiders, JR, was a perfect example of that.
I can also go back to some of my days back announcing with the Mount Sac Mounties and their national championship bid in 1997.
97?
They were the worst team in their conference for penalties, and they wound up winning a national championship.
Now, for all of you listening and watching at home, all of you football guys, we're telling you firsthand, by the way, there must have been some penalty after that PAT while they're kicking so deep.
Yeah.
But J.W. North is one of those teams where, listen, it's not a good idea to commit penalties, but sometimes teams are so gifted that it might be to your benefit to take chances.
That's a good point, because a lot of these guys, they want to make things happen, and they do, but unfortunately it comes up with a penalty mark to go with it. Ball scooped up by Olmo, still on his feet, gets upended close to midfield. And that will close out. Well, I thought that was going to close. I heard it.
That's the first quarter horn. I'm here with you, too.
But no, there's a minute 43 on the time clock as Almost takes it and gets upended. Nice open field tackle.
We were coming into this game thinking we wouldn't see maybe the Huskies are the better team. So for those of you who are trying to cash in on your Vegas bets tonight, I'd say it's a pretty darn good start for J.W. North, as expected by many, but we didn't expect the amount of fireworks we've gotten tonight. What an entertaining game between these two schools. Timeout J.W. North. Huskies average 32 points per game, and they may score 100 if they keep this pace.
So timeout on the field. Clock is stopped at 1:43 remaining in the first quarter of play. Head coach O.P. Vaipulu, as we mentioned, first year at the helm of the Huskies, but he's had head coaching experience before at Riverside Poly. Oddly enough, Dennis Brown, the former head coach here at J.W. North, was the coach there at Poly. He took over for Brown there, and he's taken over for Brown here. So there's been a lot of familiarity between the two coaches. And you got to give head coach Dennis Brown, former head coach Dennis Brown, for what he has established here in the program for J.W. North.
Yeah. Dennis Brown is probably watching or listening tonight, so I'm sure he knows just how great the program is in the hands of Opalani Vaipulu. But we all know the Golden State Warriors weren't just Steve Kerr, right? We also remember Mark Jackson was pretty influential in developing that program. And Dennis Brown has his fingerprints all over this team. So Dennis Brown was as much a part of this year as Opalani is this year moving forward.
First down and 10. Davis going to roll out looking for a receiver. Tosses it up. Nobody there. And we'll bring up a second down scenario here for the Eagles.
Yeah, Davis has begun the game 1 for 6 with 2 yards and an interception. Not exactly the most ideal start to the game for the Valley View quarterback, but the Eagles are winning games with low completion percentages out of their quarterbacks, 37% for Deshaun Davis. So this is an interesting play call and first down to go to the pass with their running game so efficient this year.
So second down and 10 here for the Eagles. Clock at 1:30. Give is going to go to the left and going to get stacked up right at about the line of scrimmage. On the carry is Rashad Funderburk, a sophomore, 5'11", 175 pounds. Maybe gets credited with 1 yard on the carry, brings up a 3rd and long scenario here for the Eagles.
According to Max Preps, that's his first run of the season. Now, I don't trust it, but that is just a testament to this offensive line as a whole. Anybody can run the ball and have some success with those guys up front.
Funderburk remains in the backfield. Davis going to step back to pass. Has a man open, and McMillian comes up with the first down reception as he takes the football inside of the 30. Keeps this series alive.
He's like a security blanket, McMillan is, with the Huskies all over the pocket of Davis. He throws really what serves as a jump ball, and his tight end makes the catch.
Nice reception, pushes the football inside of the 30-yard line of the Huskies of J.W. North. Stops the clock. Actually, the clock is rolling with 28 remaining. 28 seconds now, 25 seconds. And the Eagles going to have to think about getting some things done here quite quickly. They want to get something up before the quarter comes to an end. Looks like Funderburk is once again your ball carrier. Will get stacked up right at the line of scrimmage. Comes up with a loss of 1 yard on the carry.
So almost with 9 minutes in this first quarter, rips off a 65-yard touchdown run. Since that play, the Eagles have 6 carries for -3 yards.
Wow.
So I'd say J.W. North did a good job. I don't know what it was. Vapula figured something out, but they have shored up that run defense since the touchdown from Olmos.
You know, you got to hand it to head coach Pete Smolin of Valley View. He's been mixing it up offensively so far here in this first quarter play. Yes, it is a team that likes to primarily run the football, but as you see, he's not afraid to make the attempt to put it up into the air.
And, you know, I can speak up here in the nice, not-so-cozy booth because it's freezing cold in Riverside. But I can speak up here in the booth saying, why don't they run the ball every play? That's what they love to do. But the Huskies, they watch film, okay? We have coaches standing right next to us, okay? So I'm sure they know very important the film is for every week's preparation, even if they are interested in the sort of playoff opponents that they have. So J.W. North stacking the run. They try and beat him with the pass. And right now Davis, while inefficient, is hanging in the pocket and taking some hits.
2nd and 11 is the scenario as we start off the second quarter of play. Huskies with that 20-point advantage so far. Davis just kind of lining things up from the gun. Going to step back to pass once again. Has a fair amount of blocking. Going to get chased out of the pocket. Tosses it with his left hand. And that could be intentional grounding as, yes, there is a flag down on the field.
Patrick Mahomes would be proud of that left-handed throw.
Yep. Intentional grounding is the call, so it'll be a loss of downs.
First flag of the game for Valley View.
So that'll push the football back.
What is curious to me about that penalty is that the quarterback was outside of the pocket. The ball did appear to be not just beyond the line of scrimmage, but in the vicinity of the receiver. So even the one penalty they do have, I'm not quite sure that penalty was deserved. But, hey, I'm not an official.
And I think we actually failed to talk about our officiating crew for tonight. The referee is Roland Lemus. The head linesman is Jim Johnson. Dorian Mack is your back judge. Mark Martin is your line judge. And Dion Thompson, your umpire. So got to give credit to those guys in the zebra stripes. I know it's not always the easiest job to do each and every Friday. I wouldn't want to do it.
For sure. Line judge last week got run over by one of the J.W. North running backs. So you don't just make tough calls and have to hear the boos from the crowd every week, but every now and then there's some friendly fire from the players you're officiating.
So
in fact, I believe every now and then an NFL official, I believe there was one that got taken to the hospital one time. I couldn't tell you what game it was, what year it was. I'm sure that it's happened at the high school level too.
Yeah, absolutely. It has a job that has hazardous duty to it. There's no question about it. You can come up on the injured list.
As an official.
Yeah, as an official. There's no question about it. We're tending to the field right now. I'm not sure what exactly. Somebody might have lost their dinner on the field.
Oh, my.
Yeah, and they're just kind of making sure it's diluted with some water.
Well, good thing that they have the barbecue cooking down there at the concessions
Absolutely.
here at JW North High School, so plenty of opportunities for the fans and the players potentially. If you're the Raiders, maybe you're eating hot dogs on the sideline. We love the Raiders, by the way, just to throw that out too. But this is an incredible atmosphere, maybe the best atmosphere in the city of Riverside, with the cooking, the fans, and all of the awesome amenities. They got the dance team here too, so it's really a cool atmosphere at JW North High School.
Absolutely. It's just wonderful once again to see fans in the stands. It's great to see the barbecue fired up. We seemingly have gotten through the COVID issues here in the city of Riverside, and thankfully it looks like we're kind of back to some normalcy here.
Absolutely. It's just awesome to see football. Last year, you and me were crying ourselves to sleep because every week, every Friday night, we were sitting at home on Falls, not at a JW North or at any of these other great football teams. So
it was
really, really depressing.
It was a trying time, Nick.
Sure was. We didn't have our football Fridays. I couldn't believe it. But the Huskies did have one thing that should be noted, a 5-game spring season last year.
Right.
And when they played the Sun Belt Conference, they outscored their two opponents, Notre Dame and Valley View, a combined score of 83-0. Wow. So the spring season appeared to have been a sign of things to come for them this year.
Third and very long here for the Eagles after that intentional grounding penalty. Davis loses a football, just drops down on it, and unfortunately that'll bring up a fourth down and most likely a punting situation here for the Eagles.
Well, for Deshaun Davis, one thing that JW North does so well is that they take away something you do well. And for Davis, that's his ability to move outside of the pocket. We saw one scramble in the first quarter. But overall, JW North has been terrific keeping him in the pocket. And as you could see, Davis looked a little flustered on that third down pass there.
Abram Chan, that big kid who's your kicker, also a lineman, a starting lineman, both offensively and defensively here for the Eagles of Valley View. Back to punt the football at his own 35-yard line. Hassan Elliott back to receive, end-over-end kick. Elliott lets it drop right at about the 20, and that's where the Huskies will operate with a first down and 10.
Well, JW North invents new ways to score. And this week, we got the treat of a kickoff return touchdown and also a pick six from the same player, Rohan Preston. But make no mistake, JW North's bread and butter offensively is the ground game. And the Huskies, we'll see if they lean on that run game on this drive.
I love the balance that the Huskies have had, though. I mean, 1375 yards passing, 1407 on the ground. I mean, how close can you get in terms of what you're doing in terms of the play calling that's taking place down on the field?
Yeah, that's 176 per game rushing, 172 per game passing. That's pretty much the same.
Elliott going in motion. Are you going to try that swing out pass again? Elliott with some daylight, picks up a first down, still on his feet, takes the football right to about the 41-yard line. Nice pass and run here by Hassan Elliott.
Hassan Elliott is good enough to start just about everywhere, and when you give him open space, he is so dangerous, and there he was. Not so often, Elliott, that was an 18-yard run, but not so often he's dragged down by the first defender. That was pretty new.
First down and 10. Ball spotted at the 38-yard line here of JW North. Early here in the second quarter of play. Seo's going in motion. Gamble going to toss it out to Seo. Not a lateral. We got a flag down in the field, and McHaley is going to get
3 flags.
Wow. There's a lot of activity. I know fourth.
Yeah, we're at July 4th. All right, International Flag Day.
Are we going to get multiple calls here?
It appeared that the JW North line, number 71, Andrew Castro, is trying to plead his case. He must have said something after the play.
Holding, dead ball foul as well. So let's see how far this will back up the Huskies. Again, it's been the Achilles heel for JW North within the last couple of games.
It should be 25 yards back. That, from my math. I'm no math major, but that should be 25.
So they're moving the down marker.
And it is 25.
There you go.
All right, cool.
There you go. So that'll place the football right at about the 20. Well, no, hold on a sec.
Should be the 13. Let's check this out. No, the 18.
No, 18.
Okay, maybe
Okay.
20 yards of
Missed
penalties.
it by 5 yards. Nonetheless, it is a first and long scenario here for the Huskies. They put themselves way back in the hole now. But this is a team that is fully capable
Yes.
of getting
Yes,
itself
they are.
out
Not
of
too
the
far
hole.
away.
Granger goes in motion. Play action. Gamble scrambles out of the pocket, wisely takes it out of bounds, picks up maybe 5 on the carry.
That's the sort of stuff from Jaden Gamble, who's averaging about 3 yards a run this season. That's the sort of added component of the game that does make him pretty dangerous. Now, they do have, does JW North, an incumbent sophomore, Cameron Shannon, who's pretty darn talented running the ball too. So JW North doesn't lose that component next year. We'll just see if Shannon's the type of passer that Gamble is, because Jaden Gamble sure is special back there throwing the football.
Second down and long scenario as Granger goes in motion. Give us the CO. Looking for daylight. Stiff arms one defender but gets hauled down.
Wow.
Nice tackle on the play for Valley View. On the tackle was Carter Olmos.
Carter Olmos is doing everything for this Valley View team tonight.
Look at the stiff arm.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, Olmos was still able to wrestle him down.
65-yard run, big plays like that on defense, special teams. He's been special with the kickoff returns. What a performance from number 10, Carter Olmos, a junior.
It's not often you can get Mika Ailey to get taken down like that with as strong as he is.
Well, Olmos is only 180 pounds. He's giving up at least 20 pounds of that guy.
CO could not hold on to the football, and it brings up a fourth down scenario and a punting situation here for the Huskies.
Frustrating end of that drive for JW North. But the Huskies are scoring, as mentioned, about 33 points, 32.5 points per game to lead the Sun Belt. And this offense, really the only way that they are beaten is by themselves. And we saw it on that drive. They were rolling, led by Elliott. 2 consecutive holding penalties hampered the drive. And even with that being said, it took a big tackle from Olmos to really stop them.
Dylan Boucher back to do the punting duties here for the Huskies, and almost back to receive, standing at his own 41, 42-yard line.
There's that guy again. We'll see if he gets something going. Carter Olmos, if I'm not
Ooh,
mistaken.
high snap. High kick. Almost going to wisely just let it play out as the ball will drop just shy of midfield.
So, for those of you who aren't aware of JW North and where they rank in the Sun Belt League this season, they are not just leading that league, JR. They are running away with it. They need literally every disaster humanly possible to not win this league this season. They need to lose out. Orange Vista needs to win out, and they need to beat some good teams along the way. So, JW North controls their own destiny, and the Huskies control their own fate right now, up 27-7.
First down and 10. Ball's at the 48-yard line. Play action, tosses out to Johnson. Johnson looking for daylight, gets wrapped up behind the line of scrimmage big time. Estupo comes up with another key tackle here for the Huskies.
It's been a rough night for Michael Johnson. And he is facing the same reality a lot of starting running backs do against this JW North team. If you can't slip through the first wave of defenders, you've got no chance because this front seven is electric.
Johnson has been the most effective runner here for the Eagles. Coming into tonight's ball game with a total of 355 yards. Usually averages about 5.8 per carry, but that average looks to be probably going a little backwards here in this contest so far. Second down and long here for the Eagles. Play action. Davis tosses it to, looks like McMillan was the intended receiver. And goes incomplete, brings up third down here for Valley View.
Yeah, frustrating start to the game. I mean, Davis can't even get through his progressions right now. That's just how quick the Huskies are to get to the quarterback. But certainly Deshaun Davis should have received some credit for the way that the offense has stayed alive in a lot of these drives. He has dropped back 10 times and has only been sacked once. So he's done a great job getting the ball away, even if he doesn't have quite enough time to find a receiver.
Johnson is now in the slot, and Davis trying to direct his receivers with a third and long scenario. He's going to roll out to his right, tosses it up. McMillan comes up with a grab, gets by his intended defenders, and will take the football inside of the 10-yard line. Wow, riding the back. Your defender number 2 is Elijah Hughes. Could not wrap up McMillan, and he'll take it in for a first and goal here for the Eagles.
Yeah, what a play for Davis to Olmos. That's the combo, 49 yards, and Olmos continues an absolutely incredible night. You couldn't ask for any better of a performance out of a guy playing literally every snap on the field tonight.
First down and goal. Davis getting rushed out of the pocket, tosses it up into the end zone. Incomplete. McMillan, your intended receiver.
Yeah, really just a great game for Olmos. 49-yard catch, 65-yard touchdown run, big returns of 25 and of 20 on special teams. He's been their do-it-all player tonight and a finalist for the Lou Groza Award. For those of you who don't know, we like to do this, me and Jeff Gorham, every week on Fridays here on Riverside TV. Lou Groza was such a special player. He did it all. He was defense, offense. JR, I'm sure you know all about it. He kicked the ball. Hall of Fame kicker. So Lou Groza Award winner is who does everything for your team, and Carter Olmos is that guy right now.
Funderburk is your running back for the Eagles as Davis scrambles, tosses it up into the end zone. Very dangerous pass. Olmos was your intended receiver.
And the Huskies had some friendly fire. Brown was in the end zone to try and intercept the ball, and he gets run by his own teammate and couldn't quite make the catch. So Davis really was lucky that the ball wasn't intercepted on that play.
Makes it now a third and goal situation here for Valley View. Funderburk once again in the backfield along with Johnson. Let's see if Davis can make something happen here. Looks to the end zone one more time, tosses it up, ball's swatted down.
Great coverage by Brown, by the way. Beautiful. Terrence Brown, number 5.
So it'll bring up a fourth down scenario.
No, 70's a kicker, so.
Yeah, let's check out that coverage again. Terrence Brown was yet again at the tail end of the play, that time contacted by the receiver, but does a great job of stepping in front of McMillan and knocking that one away.
So Chan is going to come in to attempt a field goal of 25 yards from the right hash mark. Kid has a pretty good leg, so this should be doable. Snap is down, kick is up, and it is blocked. Gets picked up. And it looks like the Huskies will just take it in for another score.
Another special teams touchdown. Lisi Toa Toki brings it all the way back.
I was looking for flags down on the field. but nothing that I see out on
Nope.
the green. So the Huskies do it once again with a special teams play and get another 6 on the scoreboard. So unfortunately for Chan, was not able to get enough elevation on the kick. It gets blocked, and the Huskies able to capitalize with a huge score. High snap for Laura. Great hold by Hassan Elliott.
Wow.
That from being a problem there for the Huskies.
We could have seen a return touchdown on that PAT had it not been for the terrific acrobatics from Elliott. So the Huskies, in one of the most amazing games ever right now, have a kickoff return touchdown, an interception return touchdown, and block a field goal and bring it back from Toki 70 yards for a score. And make sure to stick around because at this rate, we're going to see maybe the coach get involved in a touchdown. That's just how crazy this first half has been.
I know we talked to Coach Vipula before the game, and we did ask him if this gets kind of out of hand, are we going to see some substitutes? And, yeah, I think we're going to start seeing some substitutes.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah.
All right. Well, it was fun for the starters while it lasted, but it'd be a great opportunity if the backups do see the field. Great opportunity for those guys to get real live reps going into the playoffs.
Exactly. So almost going to let it wisely go into the end zone for the touchback. So it'll bring it out to the 20, where the Eagles will operate with a first down and 10. Clock is stopped at 6:28. Huskies leading this contest by a score of 34-7. J.R. Ibarra along with Nick Rice bringing you all the play-by-play action on a chilly night here in Riverside.
Yes.
But nonetheless, it's great to feel that fall weather out into the air as Nick Rice gets up and does a little banda dancing here in the booth. Pretty good for a little white boy.
Oh, no. Oh, no, I have been exposed. And everyone's laughing at me. I can dance okay, all right?
Not always you hear banda music here at a high school game, but we are in the city of Riverside, so.
Right.
First down and 10. Almost going in motion. Give is to Almost. Maybe gets a
It
yard ball on
appeared
the
that
turf.
he was already down, by the way. All right, before we get all of you scared, it appeared he was down. But it was very close. Here's another look at that play, and there's 3-4 gold hats on the ball as soon as he gets to the
he's
line of
down.
scrimmage.
He's down. But you got to credit the Huskies.
Well, he was down, but officials have given the ball to J.W. North.
Really?
Yeah.
Boy, if our guys can re-rack that, if we could see that one more time, because that looks like a call by the officials that is quite questionable.
Yeah. Well, they don't get the benefit of our very luxurious press box angle, so I don't quite blame them. And unfortunately, in high school, you cannot review plays like that, so we've got a turnover and a J.W. North possession.
Boy, Huskies now with some dynamite.
Yeah, second takeaway of the game.
Yeah. Whistles and illegal procedure here, false start for the Huskies. So put another flag down on the turf here for J.W. North.
What's amazing in this game with J.W. North up 34-7, Jaden Gamble has been a huge afterthought tonight. He is 3 for 4 with 36 yards passing.
Wow.
So Jaden Gamble has been really, by the standards of this game, a no-show. But, I mean, he's done his part, but he hasn't been asked to do much at all. We'll see if Gamble has a heavier workload on this drive.
Makes it now a first and 15 scenario with the ball spotted at the 25-yard line. Gamble back to pass, looking over to his right, has a man open with Seal and could not get it to him, just out of his reach. As McAley had his defender well beat on that pattern.
It's the sort of special stuff we see out of Venancio Michaele in just about every game. He is a very, very impressive athlete in open space. And at 5'8", 200 pounds, then you're talking about an athlete that has Division I potential. I mean, the power, the strength, and the wherewithal to leak out as a receiver on a play like that. He has 138 yards and a touchdown receiving this season too. So this is a running back in his final year in high school, but not his final year playing football if he wants to continue. That's just how good he is.
Absolutely, and I think we got another flag down on the field.
False
Another
start.
false start. Wow. No, we definitely got to concur with you, Nick, in terms of Micah Ailey and his prospects for getting to the next level.
Yeah.
I know talking to Coach OP, he was mentioning last week that a few Division II teams have solidly looked at him.
Really?
So he was not willing to divulge who those teams were.
Oh, absolutely. But I
But
can tell you right now, RCC could use a running back like him next year.
I totally agree. I think he is a caliber that can do Division I.
Yeah.
Gamble tosses it up. Oh, and Granger, did he catch it?
Incomplete. No. What a try, though, from Granger.
That was a great reception try, but there is a flag down on the field. Oh, just knocked out of his hands. He had a handle on it. Great kick.
I've seen plays less impressive on SportsCenter Top 10 every Friday night. So he makes that catch. I'm pretty sure he's on there. And, you know, in SportsCenter, we do see it sometimes. There are plays that get flagged, and they'll still show it, okay? That was quite a play by Granger.
Looks like the Huskies are going to get hit with an ineligible receiver downfield.
I believe they waived the penalty, actually.
So it is a second and long scenario here for the Huskies. CO in the backfield. Give is the seal up through the middle. Looking to pick and choose his way. He's got some daylight to the 5, touchdown. CO comes up with another score here for the Huskies and keeps racking up the yardage as well.
Vanacio Mikaele. RCC could use a guy like this. The Tigers have a bolster of sophomore running backs set to graduate this year, and Vanacio Mikaele would fit in very well to this program. So,
of course, I think
we'll see.
We would love to see him get to at least a Division II level program right out of high school, which he's fully capable of doing. There's no question about that. Elliott will do the holding for Laura as we're looking at a 40-7 advantage here. Snap is up, kick is up. Looks good, and it is good. So with the clock stopped at 5:31, we'll take another look at CO here. Love his ability to change his momentum and just kind of slowly trots into the end zone for another score.
I'm telling you, Tom Kraft is licking his chops. Vanacio Mikaele is the type of athlete that could really seamlessly fit in. And by the way, for those of you who aren't aware, next week RCC is going to play right here on Riverside TV. They take on Cerritos, and the Riverside College Tigers are the very team that you play there, and your prospects of being a Division I athlete go through the roof. They have had over 150 Division I athletes in the last 10 years come through RCC, over 150, too much to count. And the Tigers have one of the great players in the NFL right now playing, formerly an RCC Tiger. Good return there. J.C. Jackson, I don't know if you heard of him. He plays for the Patriots. He last year led the NFL with 9 interceptions, and he was an RCC Tiger not long ago.
There's a lot of talent that comes out of Riverside. As you mentioned, Nick, RCC has really been a spawning point for many of the players you'll see in Division I and Division II action. So it is worth taking the time and effort to either watch on Riverside TV or head out to RCC and watch it in person. It is very quality football. Almost on the run back. Gets the ball spotted right at about the 21-yard line of Valley View. And the Eagles definitely have some catching up to do as the second quarter, 5:21 away from coming to a close. Give goes right up to middle to Funderburk. Nice carry. Will pick up about 8 on the run.
Yeah, Valley View has been a bit inconsistent running the ball, but they, it appears, have found a running back of the future of sorts in this sophomore, Rashad Funderburk. He's got some strong and very athletic moves when he gets in open space, and Funderburk seems to have the sort of stamina to hang in a game like this as a runner and a receiver, and Valley View has really utilized him in the first half.
Calling it a 2nd and 2 scenario here for the Eagles. Toss goes back to Johnson, loses the football, and it will be a loss. Play just did not formulate according to plan, and they'll wind up losing yardage. Kevin Lara coming up with a stop for the Huskies.
Yeah, I think they would have been better off with the sort of run they had on first down. Sometimes when you watch JW North go with a quarterback lateral to a running back who passes to a receiver, it may be very tantalizing to go to that sort of fancy trickery, but usually those plays don't work.
Davis scrambling, looking for some daylight, gets wrapped up and thrown for a loss about 4 to 5 yards. Once again, it looks like Kevin Lara in on the play here for the Huskies.
Yeah, Davis just has had no time to throw tonight, and there's another example right there.
Actually, we'll give Andrew Mosqueda, defensive line here for the Huskies, the credit on making the tackle there for JW North. Makes it a 4th down scenario here. Chan will come in with the punting duties. Hassan Elliott back to receive, standing at the Eagles 45. Actually, he'll back himself up just about the midfield.
And just a reminder, Hassan Elliott already has a 19-yard touchdown run.
Ball was on the turf. Looks like it might have been partially blocked. Chan was under distress to try to get that punt off, and it winds up going just inside of midfield. It looks like it'll be spotted right at about the 49.
So with the way that things panned out last night, Orange Vista lost 23-20 at Temescal Canyon, and Hemetz at home was shut out against Paloma Valley. Wildcats win their first game of the season. JW North is on its way to cruising for this Sun Belt League championship, which is an automatic berth into the playoffs, and then you're talking about seedings and divisions that are the only dramatic element remaining this year, because JW North, as a playoff team, can clinch it tonight.
1st down and 10, right at about midfield. CO in the backfield. Gamble going to step back, looking to his left. Has a receiver open with Granger just out of his reach.
Usually Granger is fast enough to track those loose balls, but Gamble just missed them. That's the sort of timing they usually have. And sometimes the difference between a touchdown and incompletion is one step, and that's all the difference was right there.
Almost there, defending for the Eagles.
And by the way, the man on the coverage was the quarterback, Deshaun Davis, running safety.
2nd and 10. Gamble back to pass, looking left again. Granger on a crossing pattern, just can't hold on to the football on this one. Give credit to Alex Castro on the defensive side for the Eagles.
Tonight, Granger has just one catch for 7 yards, which is so unusual for a guy averaging nearly 50 yards a game, Ashar Granger.
Right.
And at 6'3", 175 with his speed to burn, he is a receiver I wouldn't blame targeting again on this 3rd down.
Granger, obviously a prospect. I've not heard anything from Coach OP, but I would imagine Granger's being looked at by some schools as well.
Oh, he's big and strong enough.
3rd and long, or I should say 3rd and 10 here for the Huskies. Give is going to go to CO. Gets racked up maybe after a carry of 4 or 5 yards. Credit the stop by Adam Renteria.
This is one of those type of runners where the defender feels all the punishment of a play like that, not the guy initiating the hit.
You can see the collision that took place.
Number 54, Adam Renteria.
Yeah, and it looks like we do have a player down on the turf here for the Eagles. So that'll stop the clock with 2:16 remaining in the first half.
Venasio Mikaele tonight has 5 carries for 73 yards. That's a pretty good clip, isn't it, JR?
Absolutely. Jonathan Lyles is the defender on the turf here for the Eagles as head coach Pete Smolin goes to take a look at his player, making sure that everything's A-okay. Pete Smolin, we've had a little bit of chance to chat with him before tonight's football game, and this is a guy who's really a long-term veteran. 28 years of coaching.
Wow.
20 years at the high school level. He comes over to Valley View from Banning High School, where he was the head coach this past spring season, and Banning going with a disappointing 1-2 record. So he's new at the helm here of Valley View, but he's certainly not new in terms of head coaching experience. Spent some time at Cantwell and Montebello.
Near your neck of the woods, JR.
Yeah, I was when he mentioned that to me, that was kind of close to where I grew up, so that is a familiar name. And back in the day, Cantwell had a pretty good program, so it's a team that he helped propel to some success back in the day of his coaching duties for the Cardinals. So with a 4th down scenario, Huskies are still looking to make things happen offensively. Play action here for Gamble. Rolls out. Granger gets the toss and gets wrapped up, maybe shy of the 1st down marker.
Almost. The guy that's made so many plays on offense provides a huge stop on defense. Let's check this one out.
Yeah, he's going to be short.
Wow.
Man, so you got to credit Olmos on the stop, because Granger can be dangerous once he's able to get the reception. Let's take another look at this one. Stumbles just slightly, gets wrapped up. Man, look at that. Almost did everything possible to bring him to the turf.
Now, even with the great tackle, I still believe that Valley View got a bit of a generous ball spot there. It appeared Granger had enough, but it was very close, and a terrific job by Olmos. So you talked about Pete Smolin, the head coach. He has, even though he has all this experience, he has some huge play, a huge project to put together. This is going to be a challenge unlike maybe many challenges he's had. Valley View over the last 4 seasons has won just 21% of their games.
Yeah.
7-26. So since they won the league, they have not been very successful.
Misdirection keeper by Davis. Looks like he's going to get wrapped up for a loss. Yeah, as we previously mentioned, the Eagles are a very young team. There's room to build. And, they have shown some flashes of proficiency tonight. This is not a team that can easily get rolled over in spite of the fact that they are trailing by 41-7.
Well, the Eagles showed some promise. Almost scored on that 65-yard touchdown early in the game. They're making plays, just not at the level of JW North. And honestly, nobody's been able to do that this year. Huskies have rolled everyone by at least 3 touchdowns every week this season. That's how dominant they've been.
Almost on the carry, but he's going to get wrapped up and stacked up for another loss, possibly of 1. It'll bring up a 3rd down scenario here for the Eagles. See the misdirection taking place. Almost gets it, but gets wrapped up almost immediately by the Tupou brothers.
Yeah. Leo and Sion, those are the 2 guys that have been anchors of this team for years. That's one of those 4-year player type of stories that head coach Opalani Vepulu talked about. Vepulu, I brought it up in the first quarter, has the keys to a Ferrari. Pete Smolin, a 2000 Camry with a busted head shield, and he needs to fix the engine. That's the difference.
Yeah, that's probably a good way to size it up. Almost picked off here by the Huskies. Looks like Tupou once again.
Hey, I love a Camry. I used to drive one, 1997 Camry.
Toyotas are reliable.
I would not say that it's a Ferrari. It's a
vehicle.
little bit different. Okay.
4th down scenario, I would imagine the Eagles are going to look to possibly. No, I thought they were going to go for it, and it looks like they're going to bring in the kicking crew here.
And that probably within the half with 9 seconds. So, and what I'm mentioning by that is it's not that Valley View is a worse program. It's more so the talent that he brings in and the way that they played the last couple of years. It takes a while to develop a winning culture especially when you're facing a team like the Huskies that have had winning culture for years already in place.
High snap, able to get the boot away, and ball's taken right at about the 32 with some daylight, and it looks like it will be another special team score. Running it all the way is Andre Lindsay.
72 yards.
Right as the quarter comes to a close, and special teams once again, Nick, comes up as golden here for the Huskies.
What a game we have witnessed tonight.
Yeah.
I mean, we come into the building here at JW North High School thinking we're going to see running game, some boring defense, and the game is over. We have seen the most amazing plays of the season. There's the second kickoff return of the half from JW North. What a game we have witnessed tonight.
Kick is up on the way, looks good, and it is. So it'll now make it a 48-7 ball game as the half has come to a close. So both teams will head to the locker room, and obviously the Eagles have some significant regrouping to do. And I would imagine as we take another look at Lindsay on the run back,
Andre Lindsay leads the team with 3 interceptions this season, and there he is with another big defensive special teams play after the defensive play to close that first half.
So that will bring us to the close here of our first half. We're going to step aside for a bit of a break time here as we will come back with the second half of festivities as the Huskies lead this one by a score of 48-7. You are watching all the action here on Riverside TV.
The passing of the baton, but today it's going to be bashing in the ceremonial piñata. So there you go.
Transformation, and this gallery is just right next to the Zocalo. It is a center of activities. It has museum shop, it has cafe, it has gathering space, learning space. So these will be all fluid between the art in the gallery and the activity of the people indoor and outdoor.
As we go along this path, I am fully convinced that this museum and the Center for Chicano Art and Culture was meant to be, and it was meant to be here in Riverside and the Inland Empire. It is beyond my wildest dreams of what we could do with this building, and we hope we can bring honor and glory to a long tradition of historic buildings here in Riverside, California.
Engine 1 AMR, respond with RPD for a traffic accident with injuries. In 1234 Main, cross of Columbia, 2 vehicles involved.
Each year, the Riverside City Fire Department responds to 40,000 emergency calls.
431.
And the men and women of the Riverside Police Department drive Code 3 every day.
We need your help, so you know what to do when you see emergency vehicles.
Pull to the right.
Pull to the right.
Pull to the right. So help us help you.
We need you to pull to the right.
Mask up, Riverside.
We mask up to keep our community safe.
Let's do our part to keep everyone safe. I wear my mask to prevent the spread of COVID-19.
I mask up.
I mask up.
I mask up to keep not just myself safe, but the elderly and family members affected.
I mask up so I can be there for my patients.
We mask up
so we can hug our grandbabies again.
I mask up because when you need help, I need to be able to respond.
I wear my mask
to prevent the spread of COVID-19.
Because my immune system is compromised.
Because it's easy.
Mask up, Riverside, so we can get back to normal.
Mask up, Riverside, so we can get married.
I mask up to keep myself safe and to keep everyone else safe.
I mask up for me, for you, and
to keep my family safe.
I wear my mask to stop the spread of COVID-19.
Add your phone. Stop the spread, California. Get COVID-19 exposure alerts. Help protect your community while maintaining your privacy. Go to canotify.ca.gov today.
Agrega tu teléfono California, detén la propagación, recibe alertas de exposición a COVID-19, ayuda a proteger a tu comunidad mientras mantienes tu privacidad. Ve a canotify.ca.gov hoy.
Today is our very first building of a Little Free Pantry. We are building a Little Free Pantry in our community. It will be one of the 26 throughout Riverside that will help fill the gaps of food scarcity here in Riverside. Data is telling us now that 1 in 6 families are hungry. It's about 44% of adults and about 50% of children that are hungry here within our own neighborhood, in our own backyard.
Because of the pandemic, there's a lot of hunger out there. There's a lot of families in need, and we hope that this will act as a bridge until families are able to get the food that they need. I think that there are always those times where we are living paycheck to paycheck and we need just a few cans of something to get us by. So these little pantries will serve in that capacity, and we're really excited to see something that will help families in need.
And this has been a wonderful collaboration with the Riverside Mutual Aid Network, IEHP, here at Sandals Church, and the City of Riverside. So this has been a fantastic opportunity for community members to step up and to fill a real void in our city, which is food insecurity. So the idea is that if one of these free little pantries in your neighborhood, you could stock it as frequently or as infrequently as you want to. And the idea behind it is that when people have extra food, it doesn't go to waste.
These pantries are just kind of the first step, right, for reintroducing neighbors back to each other, getting folks involved in taking care of each other again, and just strengthening those community bonds that Riverside is so known for. Because things like food drives and food distributions, they're really good, but they only help folks in that moment of need. And we wanted to create something that would continue giving back 5, 10, 15 years from now, and really allow the community to get back into taking care of each other instead of maybe relying on, just government or nonprofit structures to kind of take care of them.
If others want to follow suit, they can apply at riversideca.gov/cares as an application, or they can email us at neighbor@riversideca.gov to receive an application to host a Little Free Pantry in their neighborhood.
Add your phone. Stop the spread, California. Get COVID-19 exposure alerts. Help protect your community while maintaining your privacy. Go to canotify.ca.gov today.
Mrs. Pitchford again. I'm a teacher here in Riverside, and I wanted to talk to you today about something that everyone's talking about, and that's washing your hands. It's super duper important to wash our hands even better than we usually do. I know that you know how to wash your hands. You do it all the time. But nowadays, we have to wash our hands in an extra special way. We have to wash our hands much longer, okay? Because when we go outside, there are germs on our hands that we don't even know about, okay? If we touch something that somebody may have touched with their germy fingers, then those germs get on us. If somebody sneezes and goes, achoo, and then touches a doorknob, then those germs go on us, and we don't want that to happen. So when we are told by mommies and daddies or grandmas and grandpas or any of your grown-ups at home to wash our hands, we have to do it really well. Let me show you something about germs, okay? I brought something, and we're going to do some pretend for a minute. All right, so I brought this glass bowl from my house, and I brought some black pepper, and we're going to pretend that these black pepper flakes, these specks, we're going to pretend that they're germs, okay? So let's pretend that I sneezed, all right? So I'm going to stick my finger into those pretend germs, and I'm going to show you what happens. So here I go. I'm going to stick my finger in there. Ew, ew, can you see? Oh my goodness. These pretend germs are sticking to me. And you know what? Real germs do that too. It's just that we can't see them. So let's talk about why hand washing is important. And I'm going to show you something really cool. I brought some soap from my kitchen too, and I have some in a little dish here. And so let's pretend that I'm washing my hands. So on this finger, I'm going to dip it in some soap, and let's see what happens to those nasty pretend germs with the soap on this finger. Are you ready? All right, here we go. What's going to happen? Did you see that? Those germs went, no, no, soap. Soap is our enemy. Soap is the enemy of germs. And that's why grown-ups are telling you to wash your hands all the time. So make sure when you turn on the faucet and the water's running, you get lots of soap on your hands, but not too much, okay, just enough. And you rub this part of your hands. Don't forget your thumbs. Rub your thumbs. Even wash the top part of your hands and wash between your fingers. And sometimes, if you're not sure if you're washing your hands long enough, you can sing the ABC song. And I know you know the ABC song. And when the song is over, then you can rinse the soap off and dry your hands and go play again. So remember and show your mommies and daddies what you've learned about germs, okay? All right, see you next time. Bye.
Completed in September 2015, the Tequesquite Landfill Solar PV project is a 7.5 megawatt solar facility that is operated by SunPower and is set atop the decommissioned Tequesquite Landfill in Riverside, California. The project put Riverside 5 years ahead of its goal of having 20 megawatts of solar energy by 2020. The clean, renewable solar power generated is purchased by Riverside Public Utilities and directly feeds into Riverside's distribution system, providing enough electricity to power over 1,600 homes. For more information on other Riverside Public Utilities green energy efforts, visit greenriverside.com.
Hi, once again, welcome to Riverside Monthly. I'm Steve Brazel, your host, and this is the episode for this month that I've been looking so forward to, getting to know our new mayor, Mayor Locke Dawson. Mayor, how are you?
Oh, I'm great, Steve. Thank you. I'm happy to be back on the show now in a different capacity as mayor. As you know, you and I have, I think, been on the show together a couple times in the past.
Yes, we have. And Mayor Patricia Locke Dawson was elected last year, is the new mayor for the city of Riverside, and I am so happy to have you in the city and looking so forward to what you're doing. But I want to get to know you as the non-mayor title a little bit. You grew up in Riverside in the Greenbelt area. You graduated from Notre Dame High School. I'm kind of curious because it's always kind of an interesting way people get to choosing to serve in an elected type office. So how did that upbringing kind of lead you into a public service life?
Growing up in the Greenbelt, honestly, instilled in me a love of the outdoors because, I mean, my brothers and sisters, you know, my mom wouldn't let us in the house until the street lights came on. I think a lot of people of my generation felt that way. We were outdoors a lot. And so, you know, I went into forestry and wildlife and a career in the outdoors. And when I started working in that professional capacity, I felt like I was a pretty good scientist, pretty good wildlife biologist, but I was a better policymaker. And I kept getting dragged into things like that. And that was, so I found that I could be more effective advocating for the things that I love in a different role than what I had trained to be.
See, that's interesting because you kind of went into an area that was tangential to this. And while serving in that capacity, your eyes were open to other things. You graduated from UCR, graduate studies at University of Washington, but it's in between that I think what you're alluding to. So in between UCR and University of Washington, you were a park ranger?
I was a national park ranger, flat hat, uniform, everything. I served in both Bryce Canyon National Park, where I met my husband, I will say, another Californian. We had to go all the way to Utah to meet. And I was at
do
Bryce
what you got to do.
Bryce Canyon, and I was at Mount Rainier National Park up in the state of Washington, both.
In Riverside, you've been a longtime advocate for the Santa Ana River. And obviously the name of the city is Riverside. What can the Riverside, what can the Santa Ana River be for Riverside and the surrounding communities? What potential is there?
Well, as many know who perhaps watched the State of the City and have been following my career here over the years, I want to put the river back in Riverside. We have for a very long time turned our backs on the river, which means we did all our industrial work there. We've, used it just to take water out for industrial uses. And it's never been celebrated for the resource that it is here, which could be a beautiful natural area, a mosaic of uses from the headwaters of the San Bernardino Mountains to the coast of the Pacific Ocean, a patchwork of open areas, natural areas, developed parks, bike paths, a place where families can come together, across generations, across the city. That's my dream.
Well, think about how many people know and utilize the Santa Ana River Bike Trail. And yet, like you say, taking it beyond that, there is so much opportunity there. But I kind of want to go back to something we talked about a second ago, because I keep thinking about this. Former National Parks Ranger, environmental scientist, mother of 3 daughters. What causes that human being to go, I'm going to run for office? Seriously, what's the trigger that makes you think, because there's a lot of ways to serve. A park ranger is a service, job. What is that little line that gets the most good?
Well, I think like many people, it's sort of a progression, right? A progression of different roles that you play that you realize there's something else you could be doing that could be helpful. When I was on the Planning Commission for the City of Riverside, I did that because I wanted to advocate for open space and conservation, and that was something I could do within that role. When I started having children and they were growing up, I got very interested in education of my children in the school board. And so I thought I could really help there. And I ran for the school board. And when I did that, I was the only board member who had children in school. And I had one at elementary, middle, and high school. So I thought I could really help here. And then when Mayor Bailey decided to leave, he asked if I would be interested in running for office and for the mayor. And I thought, boy, that brings kind of everything all to bear here. Education, environment, family, growing up here, all can come to bear in serving the citizens of Riverside.
kind of a unification of all of your points of view, a way for you to unify them in a message. Mayor Bailey comes to you and says, you should do this. Is it what you expected? Now that once you open the door and go through that doorway, quite often there are surprises. So what's been the biggest surprise, and overall, has it been what you expected?
Honestly, Steve, it has been what I expected. I'm not, just because I've been in public service and in government and elected office for so very long. I didn't mention I was also a gubernatorial appointee in a mental health services capacity. So that's also something that I think is very much something that I would bring to bear here. So there hasn't been a lot of surprises there. And honestly, in some respects, the school district was a very complicated place to be, which prepared me well for the city. So none of that was a surprise. I think what's been surprising is just how, I know this is crazy, but just how welcoming and wonderful and eager people are to help and see you succeed. It's you get in this mindset that, I've got to get this work done, or there's, so much to do, and people want to help, and they're there. And Riverside is such a wonderful place to tap into all that creativity and resourcefulness of our citizens.
It really is, and I think it's one of the most misunderstood, I think the word I'm looking for, is that government is so often the people you see after you walk through the door that are in cubicles, and it's those people that are standing behind the mayor, working to help get that vision right through. You mentioned advocating for students and parents as a member of the RUSD board. Having been elected mayor last November, you mentioned that RUSD was, kind of a complex scenario to navigate through being on that board. What are some of the similarities between being on a school board and being more in the city government type world? And for that matter, are there any huge differences that you found?
Well, I appreciate you asking that, because there's so many similarities in that, running a large organization, a large corporation is the same anywhere you go. There are budget issues, right. There are personnel issues, there are goals you're trying to get done. Those are all the same things that we had at the school district. And I don't know if you know, but the school district is actually larger than the city. So it has more employees.
Really?
And it is. It's bigger. And so it's got, I think 4,300 employees. The city has 2,500. So it's a bigger organization. It has a bigger footprint. It's larger by square mileage as well. So it was very similar in that way to come over running a large organization. And while education is wonderful, and I served my time.
Welcome back to JW North High School as we are finishing off halftime festivities on senior night here on campus. As you see, the Huskies lead in this contest by a score of 48-7.
Oh, rough first half for Valley View.
In spite of the fact that it was so lopsided, it was a very entertaining first half.
Yes.
When you see the many ways that the Huskies were able to put up points on the scoreboard.
So let's go over the scoring summary in this first half, brought to you by my stat sheet writing. And it began with an 88-yard kickoff return. First play of the game from Rohan Preston, and he would continue a festive first half on the defensive end later on. Valley View took the lead shortly after in a 65-yard touchdown run. Midway through the first quarter, Valley View was up 7-6 in this game. And then JW North caught fire. Asan Elliott scored from 19 yards on a run. We saw a halfback pass on the following score. Vanasu Mikaele to Jeremiah Calhoun. Pick six from Rohan Preston. Blocked field goal return touchdown. A 30-yard run and a 72-yard punt return for a touchdown. They scored in literally every possible way you could in the first half. Run, pass, kickoff return, interception return, blocked field goal return, and punt return. What a first half this game was.
What more can you ask out of a team?
Just an incredible first half, and that's why the numbers look kind of strange. I mean, you look at the numbers, and it appears that this was an even football game.
Yeah, when you look at the overall yardage, JW North 227 of total offense, 119 for Valley View. It was 122 passing-wise for the Huskies and only 58 for Valley View. 105 on the ground here for the Huskies and 61 for the Eagles. The penalty factor really kind of comes into play when you see the Huskies getting 11 flags for 95 yards and Valley View only 1 for 10 yards. So that, kind of helped out the Eagles just a bit, although the score doesn't quite reflect that. But nonetheless, the Huskies once again kind of struggle with the flags on the field.
Yeah, just really a frustrating first half because Valley View, when you look at the numbers, they played well. They forced the Huskies off the field on third downs. They did a terrific job against the pass. In fact, their quarterback out threw Jaden Gamble. Davis had 71 to Gamble's 43. So they did very impressive things to the way that we didn't expect tonight. Valley View outplayed them in several phases of the game. The problem is the special teams struggled, and then the 2 turnovers that they suffered, a fumble and an interception, both resulted in touchdowns, and that's why the game looks as lopsided as it is.
That has definitely been a big factor with the turnovers here for Valley View, and that's why they find themselves deep in the hole. I believe with this type of score spread, we may see ourselves in a running time clock here.
Probably.
So
definitely in the fourth quarter, maybe the third as well.
Right. Well, so we'll see how that plays out, especially if the Huskies are able to put up another couple of scores on the scoreboard here. Valley View deferred the kickoff, so they'll receive here in the second half.
And the result of this game, outside of a complete disaster, it appears to already be solidified. But one thing I'm sure Coach Opalani Vepulu is looking at for the second half is, the penalties and the mistakes. If JW North commits these mistakes against a different team, then maybe there's a different result. So the Huskies, I'm sure, are looking at that and talking about that going into the second half.
Laura on the kickoff. Davis and almost back, and it is Davis picking up the football at his own 4-yard line, looking to get some yardage as he turns the corner and gets shoved out of bounds right at about the 20-yard line.
Yeah. And for JW North, too, one other conversation, as we do have a running clock. That's the answer to that question.
Okay.
JW North, their last 3 playoff appearances, they were crushed by San Dimas in 2018. They lost a heartbreaker to Kaiser in the opening round, 14-7 in 2012. 2011, they advanced to the CIF quarterfinals, but lost to Vista Marietta, my alma mater, by the way. So the Huskies have made the playoffs numerous times. Now, can they go on a playoff run that we haven't seen since 2006 when they won the state title? That remains to be seen. But they are off to the same start that they did in 2006. They're 8-0, best start in 15 years. So far, so good for JW North.
Again, we'll see how things shake out on Selection Sunday when the CAF puts together all the playoff pairings in just a few weeks. Give is going to go to Funderburk. Gets wrestled down after a pickup and gain of close to 7 on the carry.
And Valley View's almost had the play of the game, the 65-yard touchdown run.
Yeah.
But this is a guy, Funderburk, about 3 yards a carry in the first half. He's wearing number 21, as you see. He has the sort of skill set as a sophomore that really, in my opinion, appears to translate to a bigger workload next season. He looks like a guy that could end up becoming their lead and most important running back next year.
5'11", 175, and the carry goes to Johnson. No, that was Funderburk again. So 2 carries in a row, winds up with a first down here for the Eagles.
Yeah, impressive running by Funderburk. He looks like the type of player that could have a bigger role next season. Valley View, they've got some playmakers outside, a quarterback that returns next season, and DeHone Johnson out with a concussion today. But Funderburk is someone who has some serious promise in that offense.
First down and 10 here for the Eagles. Funderburk, once again, your ball carrier, and takes a couple of defenders with him after he picks up about 7 on the run.
I said this in the first half. He was the best running back I saw on the field for Valley View, and they handed to him 3 straight plays, and great things happened when number 21 totes the rock.
Nice blocking there by the front line of the Eagles to open up just enough of a seam for him to get through. Brings up a 2nd and 2 scenario for the Eagles. Clock is rolling at 9 minutes, so we do have that rolling clock scenario here in the second half of play. Give is to Funderburk once again. This time he's going to get stacked up behind the line of scrimmage and will most likely be a loss of about a yard or so.
Hey, just hand it to him on third down,
Yeah.
okay? It's 48-7. Feature him on a third down. Let's see if he can convert.
Why not? Third down scenario here for the Eagles.
DeHon Davis in the first half was just 3 for 14 in completions. That's 21%.
Funderburk once again gets wrapped up this time almost immediately behind the line of scrimmage. Danny Salvador coming up with a stop here for the Huskies.
Yeah, he is very disruptive, Danny Salvador is. He has 9 tackles for loss. Every player in the Sun Belt League dwarfed by Salvador in the tackle for loss department. He's ranked first in that category, so he is very strong and disruptive as a defensive end and makes the play.
Fourth down scenario here for the Eagles. They are looking to go for this one, as when you're trailing by a score of 48-7 with a running clock, you got to make some things happen.
Yeah. Now, if the score is back within reach at some point in the second half, they are allowed to stop the clock, or the referees.
Fumble on the snap. Davis in big trouble, and he's going to get shoved out of bounds and not even close to the first down. So it will be a turnover on downs here by the Eagles.
Is it? Well, that is a very generous ball spot.
It really is. It's very close to the first down marker.
Yeah, he appeared to be a yard or two short. I'm with you, JR. He didn't look very close at all.
No, but you know what? There may have been some sort of sideline infraction. I don't know. I don't see a penalty marker anyplace, but there is some discussion, and they're going to give him the first down.
Wow.
That is quite
all right.
an amazing spot.
Hey, we've seen a lot of crazy stuff happen tonight, JR. There's another one, okay? This game is not disappointing.
It's entertaining.
Yes,
in spite
absolutely.
of the fact that it is just a tad bit on the lopsided side.
Yeah. Most games that are 48-7 are a bore, okay? But I'm telling you right now on Riverside TV, stick around. There might be an asteroid sighting before this game is over. That's how wild this game has been today.
First down and 10 here for the Eagles, just shy of midfield. Funderburk, once again, your ball carrier. He'll pick up possibly 2 to 3 on the run.
So I said Funderburk should be the guy they tote every play. Number 21, the running back. He begins the second half with 6 carries for 25 yards. I'd say that's a pretty good clip.
I think Coach Smolin has definitely found a little gem in the rough here with Funderburk. Give once again to Funderburk. Keeps the feet moving, maybe a yard on the carry if they are generous. We'll bring up a third down scenario here for the Eagles.
Yeah, well, the Huskies last year played these guys, and it appears there's an injured Husky. JW North last year played Valley View and beat them 49-0.
Yeah.
So the Eagles come back a year later. They take the early first quarter lead 7-6, and while this game has been awry in a lot of different phases, I would be very encouraged moving forward. I think Valley View has made improvements from where they were a year ago, and Pete Smolin in his first season, you could say what you want about this guy going from a couple of Redlands positions and high school positions and floating around. He found something in Valley View. In fact, he chose the school. He was saying, I want to get back to the head game, and this is the school that I want to develop a winner at. And while it was really rough early on, he has begun to improve every single game for this team. And I think that they're showing huge progress going into year 2 for this program.
Yes, and speaking to him earlier this evening, as we mentioned previous, he definitely expressed to you and I that he really loves where he's at Valley View. He's teaching there full time. He loves the program. He loves the campus. Seemingly has a great relationship with his administrators. And who knows, within a season or two, he could make this team quite a contender in league play. Third down scenario for the Eagles. Davis being chased, heaves it up, and almost in and out of the hands of a receiver and a defender.
Davis might be hurt. He took a huge shot as soon as he threw that ball. Oh, no, he's okay.
Gets back up.
I mean, he's hurt, but he's able to at least get to his feet.
4th down situation for the Eagles, and with the clock moving, you know they're going to probably go for it, as it looks like Nick's going to get on the dance floor once again here.
Fireball.
Well, looks like they are going to bring in the punting squad here for the Eagles. So Abram Chan, the big guy, looking to boot this one away. Now we're seeing some replacements for the Huskies, as Elijah Hughes will be back to receive the punt here for JW North. Almost an offside here for the Huskies. Decent kick and nice roll for the Eagles as it rolls inside of the 10-yard line. Going to get touched right at about the 6.
So JW North has played 9 games, and they're just about ready to clinch the Sun Belt League and also an automatic bid into the playoffs with a win tonight. JW North, their average score this season, JR, is 36-8.
Wow.
That's how dominant they've been this year. But they've never scored 50 in a game. So that's the challenge for the second half. And this might be their only drive of the third quarter. So the Huskies have only a few more chances to eclipse that 50-point plateau. They hit 49 against Notre Dame back in week 3.
So let's see if some changes are being made by Coach OP as they So it now looks like Cameron Shannon is now your quarterback here for the Huskies. He's going to do a quick flip out to his right side. Catch is made and going to get wrapped up almost immediately with a reception made by Kalis Granger.
Right. We don't know if he's related as brothers to Ashar Granger, but I would be shocked if he isn't. Okay? How many people have a last name of Granger? So that's probably his younger brother. And Carlos Granger is just a freshman. He's one of the few freshmen that are playing. And congratulations to Carlos. That's his first high school catch. 6 foot, 185 pounds. He's got the sort of size as the other Granger on this Huskies team.
Picks up a yard on the reception. So second down scenario as the ball's given to Seo. Gets wrapped up, spun around, but it looks like he'll pick up another first down here for the Huskies.
Benasio Mikaele in the first half had 14.6 yards a run. He was dominant, and there's another reason why he is one of the best backs in the city of Riverside and beyond. This guy is so tough to bring down.
One thing you got to say about his running capabilities is even though he may get hit, he's always falling forward.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
You very rarely see get that negative yardage whenever he gets wrapped up.
And that's the other amazing thing. He does that with speed. You create a video game version of this guy, and he's all 99s. He's speed, power, acceleration, awareness. He can catch out of the backfield. 9 receptions, 138 yards and a touchdown this year. So Mikaele is a do-it-all player. Shoot, we saw him throw an 88-yard touchdown pass in the first half. He is just incredible.
Getting scrambled out of the pocket, looking downfield. The catch is made and out of the hands for the intended receiver of Calhoun.
And the guy who was on the receiving end of that touchdown was Jeremiah Calhoun earlier in the first half. So this offense has weapons, and I would not want to be any of the defensive coordinators getting ready for a playoff game against these guys.
Second down scenario here for the Huskies. Sounds like they're playing your song there, man.
It's all my song, all right?
Dance moves here,
Despacito on senior night.
So Shannon, once again from the gun. Seo in the backfield, and give is to Mikaele. Turns the corner. Does this. Oh, he's still on his feet to the 40, 30. Cuts it up. Doesn't look like he's going to get caught. Touchdown, Huskies. I thought there was a couple of scenarios where he was going to get brought down, and he takes it in for the score.
Over 150 yards rushing, 88 yards passing. Venancio Michele is doing it again for JW North. And for the first time this season, JR, they've got a 50 burger. This one on Valley View, 54-7 of the PAT pending.
Lara to attempt the point after. Elliott on the hold, and the hold goes bad. So Elliott on the run, he's going to get wrapped up, and unfortunately the point after goes nowhere. But nonetheless, it is still a 54-7 ball game here for the Huskies.
What a team. And Venancio Michele is right at the front of it. This is a special player for JW North. The Huskies have 25 seniors on their roster. A lot of guys who have made huge contributions for about 15 players, contributions to the varsity program for 4 years. But I would say that this is the guy they're going to miss the most. Number 30, the running back, Venancio Michele, 14 rushing touchdowns, and now 2 all-purpose non-rushing touchdowns. So Michele this year has been a dynamo for this football team.
He picked a great night to do it, being senior night in the final home game of the regular season. So it's a great way to showcase just how talented he has been in his 4 years here with JW North. As I think I previously mentioned last weekend, I remember seeing him back as a freshman just running through people.
Right.
And you knew back then as a freshman, this kid was really special as a running back.
And I just am perplexed why he doesn't have any Division I offers already. I mean, I'm sure there's plenty of time for them to offer him, but this is a Division I caliber talent, and it's on full display tonight.
Davis takes the football at his own 10-yard line, gets pushed back, still on his feet, turns the corner, cuts it up, gets hauled down, and is finally going to get stopped right at about the 16 of the Eagles.
Tackled by Jonathan Garcia. Okay, JR, you ready for some fun?
I think so. We are now into the fourth quarter.
Okay, all right.
So we're headed into some trivia time that Nick told me he had planned. So let's see if he can stump the professor here.
Okay, Professor JR. So Ghazal Hassan and Jeff Gorham are currently on assignment across the street doing Hillcrest to Notre Vista.
Okay.
So make sure to watch that game at the conclusion of this one. But stick around for the next 10 and a half minutes because we've got a pretty cool questionnaire for Professor J.R. Ibarra. So Ghazal Hassan, one of the 2 on assignment across the street, every week he creates CIF playoff projections. So he determines based on the rankings. It's a little different this year. Rankings are important for playoff seedings. What team's going to go in what division? I've got a fun game tonight. I'll tell you right after this first play.
All right, first down and 10 here for the Eagles. Davis remains in the backfield as your quarterback here for Valley View. Give is going to go to Funderburk. Why not? He's been having a heck of a game so far here in the second half and picks up about 5 on that carry. So just keep handing him the pigskin.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, maybe Valley View goes into one of these Ghazal Hassan playoffs.
I tell you what,
if Funderburk keeps running.
The Eagles got away with movement on the front line, if you saw there on the replay.
It looked like a lot of guys jumped, not gonna lie. So
Chen might have been the main culprit on that one, but they got away with it. But nonetheless, they pick up 5 yards on the carry by Funderburk. Second down as the clock rolls here at 9:18 in the fourth quarter. Give us to Funderburk once again. Looks like he'll get the first down on that carry.
My favorite player tonight is this guy. So, all right. Currently, by way of Ghazal Hassan's CIF playoff projections, he believes that JW North going into tonight, if the playoffs are to start today, JW North would be the 2 seed in Division 5. So for our fun game tonight, I'm going to give you the remaining 15 schools. I tell you the school, you tell me the team name.
Oh, God.
And obviously the 2 seed is JW North, and their team name is the Huskies. So does that make sense?
I think I got the rules here as we see Anthony Davis Hopkins on the carry. First time tonight he's touched the football.
Okay. Let's see how many of these you can get right.
Okay, so these are projected teams you're saying that may possibly be in the same division as
JW North. Well,
Gotcha.
just do the one division. That's Division 5.
Gotcha.
The 1 seed
And I'm
is
surprised it's 5. I almost thought 4.
right.
almost
Yes, they've been hovering at 4, lower end of 4 most of the year. So it's weird that they drop a division after a loss. There's a first down run. So the 1 seed is Harupa Hills. What is their team name?
That is the Spartans.
Great job. Okay, 1 for 1.
I say I have an advantage because I almost taught there.
Oh,
I used
fair
to
enough.
be part of the Fontana Unified School District. So.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Number 3 is Valencia.
I immediately want to say oranges, but that's probably not it.
Great guess. Great guess. Plenty of oranges in Valencia.
I'm going to say Lions, I believe.
They are the Valencia Vikings, so you're 1 for 2.
Vikings, okay.
Number 4 seed, Palm Desert High School. What is their team name?
You know, I should know that one too because I spend plenty of time golfing down there. Palm Desert. Palm Desert.
Time is of the essence.
I think so. Just as we have.
You throw a name, it doesn't matter if you get
I'll
it wrong.
say, ooh, stop. Nice hit in the backfield there by JW North. Peia making the stop there for the Huskies.
Okay,
so Palm Desert, golly, man. Is it the Tigers?
Nope, Aztecs. Okay,
Aztecs.
number 5, Camarillo High School.
Camarillo. Conquistadors.
Great choice. No, it's the Scorpions. 6, Beaumont High School.
Beaumont. Beaumont Braves.
Good choice, but it's the Cougars. Cougars. Summit High School.
Skyhawks.
Man. Great choice. Yeah, it's the Skyhawks.
Andrew Mosqueda makes the stop there for the Huskies, and a big loss and a 4th down and long scenario here for the
I'm missing
Eagles.
some good defense there.
Yeah,
That's a pretty good
really
defense.
Are. Although another ball carrier here with Robert Fuller now was the running back on that last play.
They're getting rid of Funderbunk. That is sad. Okay, we've got 9 teams left. Number 8 is St. Paul High School. A school just outside of Los Angeles in Santa Fe Springs.
Golly, I should know this.
I feel like Alex Trebek.
Yeah, I know. Ball dribbles down to about the 34. St. Paul.
St. Paul.
I'm racking my brain on that one because I should know that one too.
Most of these schools are in the LA area, so you've got plenty of chances.
I know. St. Paul. Give it to me. I'm stumped on that one.
All right. St. Paul Swordsman.
Okay.
St. Genevieve High School out of Panorama City near Northridge.
That I have zero clue on that one.
The Valiants. Some crafty names, I will admit. Number 10, the Santa Ana Blank.
Santa Ana High School.
It's the Santa Ana Saints.
Santa Ana Saints.
All right, number 11, Monrovia. Right near your neck of the woods. Monrovia High School.
Now, I should know that. I actually used to live in Monrovia, but my mind is drawing a blank. Gone. Pick up of 8 on that last carry just to let you know what's going on with the football game.
Yeah.
But the clock is rolling down to 4:20 here.
Right.
Doggone it. Monrovia. I used to live there. It shows you my age. I can tell you that because my memory's beginning to dissipate to some instance. And a first down pickup here with a nice pickup and carry by Omari Esteen. Picking up a first down here for the Huskies. Give me Monrovia.
Monrovia Wildcats. The Wildcats. Number 12, Culver City High School. This is near Santa Monica, so
right.
kind of out of the way.
Culver City.
Some pretty cool names, I will admit. This one's maybe the best. Culver City Centaurs.
Never would have got that one. First down and 10 here for the Huskies. Roll out by Shannon. looking to turn the corner, and we'll take it out of bounds after a pickup of about 3 to 4.
And by the way, before I give you the last 4 schools, we're going down the list of all the schools that are in the division of JW North for the playoffs, if the playoffs are to start today, according to Ghazal Hassan. So that's why we're doing this. The team that's next on the list is the 13 seed Yucaipa Blank. They're right around here, just east of Riverside. Listen, I'd be even worse than you, so I don't blame you.
Again, I'm stumped on Yucaipa.
The Yucaipa Thunderbirds, 3 left.
Okay.
Capistrano Valley, blank.
First down pickup here for the Huskies. Capo Valley, I should know that one too because I've seen that team play.
Starts with a C.
Is that Conquistadors?
Nah, Cougars.
Cougars.
This one I think is a gimme for you. La Habra. Remember what La Habra is?
Oh man. Leopards.
Highlanders.
Highlanders.
I guess the Leopards, they roam in Highland.
Yeah.
And then finally, Westlake. To end your misery, what is Westlake?
Oh, man. Now, that's embarrassing because I actually used to cover Westlake back in the day.
You used to cover, they start with a W. Their team name starts with a W.
Warriors.
The Warriors.
Yeah.
So you got 3 of them right. All right. That would be Professor JR. That would be an F-.
Not surprising because that's kind of the way it was in high school.
Oh, was it?
Yep. That's just how it was for me, is Eston, your ball carrier.
A+ tonight on the broadcast. So it averages out to a C. That's the way the grades work. So if the playoffs are to start today, according to Ghazal Hassan, JW North in Division 5 would be a 2 seed, and they would take on the La Habra Highlanders, a 15 seed. So make sure to visit Ghazal Hassan's Twitter for daily and weekly updates about the CIF Southern Section and the playoff picture. And, of course, we wish the best of luck to all the teams eligible for the postseason. And JW North is there. They have won the Sun Belt League with their win tonight, and they have clinched the playoff spot.
They locked it up by winning league, and they will essentially wind up at 9-0 here in week number 9. As the clock rolls down to under 45 seconds now.
JW North is going to finish the regular season next week at Rancho Verde. And meanwhile, Valley View, their final game of the season, is home against Paloma Valley. So best of luck for these 2 schools next week and the remainder of the season. Riverside TV will bring you all Riverside games coming up. Make sure to stick around. RCC Cerritos is coming up next week.
So it looks like the Huskies just going to wind up taking a knee and just closing out this contest after a very decisive win of 54-7 over the Eagles of Valley View. I'll tell you what, in spite of the fact of the lopsided score, very entertaining to watch when you see the number of ways, when you consider the number of ways that they were able to put points on the scoreboard.
Yeah, what a game. TiVo this, watch it again for the remainder of the week. It was that entertaining. JW North scored on a kickoff return touchdown, a pick six, a halfback pass, 4 runs from tailbacks and also from different players on the outside. We saw a 70-yard block field goal return touchdown, a 72-yard punt return touchdown. We saw it all tonight, but the Huskies keep it rolling with a 54-7 win. They are now 9-0 and ranked number 1 in the city of Riverside going into the playoffs.
I tell you what, though, keep an eye on these Huskies because I think this team has all the right tools and capabilities to win a CIF title.
It'd be the first time since 06, but they won their first 9 games that year too, so history's on their side.
All right, so that'll wrap things up here from JW North High School. For our award-winning cast and crew here for Riverside TV, for Nick Rice, I'm J.R. Ibarra. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate the time that you spend with us each and every Friday night here on Riverside TV, as the JW North Huskies come up with a 54-7 victory over the Valley View Eagles. Good night, everybody. We'll see you next time.